Andy Chrisman of For Him has spent 40-plus years in Christian music, and chances are he knows your favorite artist personally. Now he's bringing you their stories.
I'm Andy Chrisman.
In his new podcast, 1 Degree of Andy, he sits down with the voices behind the songs for real, honest, and faith-filled conversations you won't hear anywhere else.
That's a great question.
If you love Christian music, this is your backstage pass.
The 1 Degree of Andy podcast.
Listen now to 1 Degree of Andy wherever you get your podcasts.
One of these men is a highly respected New York attorney, Lucas A. Ferrara. The other is a self-proclaimed man of the people, known as Mert Roberts. Their aim is to discuss the hottest issues impacting our city, state, and nation. Fasten your seatbelts. Shake It Off with Mert and Lucas, live, starts now on AM 970. The Answer.
Interesting, Alex. What's the name of that one?
All right, this is by Igorov Saranikov, Lost in Time. See, you challenged me with a name this week, but I got it right.
I
Igorov
thought you were going to mess up that name for sure. Very well done. Well, the next story certainly makes me feel like we're lost in time. What do you mean, wow, Mert? You try saying Igorov Saranikov.
No confidence in your guy, Alex, there.
Alex, do you think he would have messed up the name or what?
I'm also Russian a little bit, so I can get the name right.
Oh, I got you.
See what I'm saying? No confidence.
We'll talk about Lost. Let's talk about a strange phenomenon, Mert, something I think that's pretty troubling. It's an issue that sits at the intersection of science, national security, and the blind spots we didn't even know we had. Now, apparently for the last few years, quietly, almost invisibly, Mert, American scientists have been disappearing. Not one, not two, not three. Depending on which report you believe, the number varies. Some reports claim up to 10, maybe 11. Another one I read said up to 12, with some missing, some found dead, Mert, some vanished without a trace, and some gone under circumstances so bizarre that even the FBI, even the White House... That's it. Even Congress finally said, okay, something's up here. And the question that keeps echoing, Mert, the one that should rattle every institution, is this: how did we not know, and what took us so long? What do you think, Mert? What's going on? Is it? Do you think it's the aliens? The aliens are zapping up our scientists?
No. America's funny. The scientists are disappearing. So they're like socks in a dryer. Huh?
Doesn't that annoy you? Doesn't that annoy you when that happens? Yeah, because I don't know where they go.
They're disappearing.
That's another episode.
Yeah. What happened to all these people who are losing their jobs? Are they disappearing too, or is it just they just don't have a job anymore? I think a lot of these people get fired, get released, get let go, and then they just don't have a job, and all of a sudden they disappeared. I think like America's funny that way. They'll take the word of these people in these science industries. Well, we're losing scientists. They're disappearing. No, they probably just were let go. They probably just fired like everybody else in America who's looking for a job right now. They were fired. They were let go.
No, Bert, what are you making this stuff up? Alex, do you believe he's making this up? Where does he get this news from?
All right, I've heard, and I'm going to be a little nerdy about this, I've heard about 11 people have died now, 11 scientists?
Well, I don't know if they've died. They're it's a combination. Some have died, some have missing. Some they can't explain.
Yeah, because scientists are they're the definition of in shape. You ever see a scientist? Do they look like the most in shape people? No, they usually look like little scrawny nerds.
No,
they're not. Okay.
This has nothing to do with. Yeah, I think the judges are giving you a zonk for that, Mert.
He might be a scientist too, huh? Little Alex.
This has nothing to do with job loss and falling off the radar. These are people that are missing or dead, Mert. And there's conspiracy theories. There are theories that maybe this is coordinated. Some of
I'll say this. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. I'll say this. When you fire somebody, do you usually keep track of them? or do you just
Well,
they just go and do their own
story.
thing?
These are not people that are fired. These are people that are missing. Scientists that are missing. It has nothing to do with whether they're employed or not. Okay.
Yeah. So when somebody just quits, what are they? They just, and I don't know where they're at. They're missing, right? Or they just quit.
Well, even if we buy into this conspiracy theory of yours, this delusional theory that you're coming up with, you're making this up out of whole cloth. So even if they quit, how do you explain their disappearance from the face of the earth? How do you explain their death, Mert? You seem to be taking this very lightly. Look, Alex, he's laughing at people dying.
What are you saying? They have top secret information and they had to be wiped off. I think
possibly
face
this
of the
Well,
could be
it's
foreign.
funny you say that. I mean, I don't know if Lucas is going to get to this, but the Telegraph is reporting it could be linked to NASA. Now, I don't want to spread more rumors here, but it could be linked to NASA. We don't know.
It could be some foreign government. It could be Iranian. It could be whatever that are going after our top scientists. These are, by the way, just in case you're wondering, astrophysicists, aerospace engineers, nuclear researchers, AI specialists, defense scientists, space program veterans, and a retired Air Force Major General tied to aerospace programs. These are just not the secretaries, okay, Mert? These are not clerical people. These are top people in their fields suddenly gone. And what I don't understand is why it took our government this long to connect the dots. Somebody's been sleeping, and that doesn't sit well with me. Alex?
Yeah. Somebody's sleeping. Nobody's sleeping. These people.
So it's time to wake up.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Intelligence community, what are you doing back there? You're letting an assassin go into the Hilton.
This is just a reboot of the 60s and 70s and all this stuff when everybody's getting abducted by aliens, UFOs.
There may be something about that. Apparently, Obama believes in aliens. What do you think? Do you think it's some sort of conspiracy?
No, there's no conspiracy. America loves a conspiracy. There's no conspiracy. When people walk off the job and they don't want to be tracked down because they hated the work, they were probably underpaid, they probably weren't being treated well, and all of a sudden they disappear, and now everybody's saying, wait a minute, where was Scott at? Where's Scott? We need him for the project. He had the information. Where's Scott at? Scott doesn't want to be found
This is a serious topic. I don't know what's so funny.
Scott, I don't know. I agree with you, Alex. I think
Scott doesn't want to be found. No, Scott doesn't want to be found. He's tired of being underpaid and overworked, and he walked off the job.
So 12 people decide to fall off the radar. That's what you're saying.
Absolutely.
12 top scientists or in their 12 top people in their respective fields gone. And
it would be more devastating if we had 100 people fall off the map. But this sounds like 12 people who felt like they were overworked, and they just said, "You know what? I'm tired of it."
You know what, Mert?
There's a federal probe on this. That's how serious it is, actually.
I know, and Mert thinks it's a joke. Okay, I think if one person is missing, that's serious. Okay,
you know what?
Look how much time we spent on Savannah Guthrie's mother missing. Okay, these are top scientists, and we're not really focused on 12 or 11
Well,
people
and they talk about disappearing of illegal immigrants because of ICE, but they're not talking about the disappearing of scientists. It's very double standard why they're not concerned on
but
the
you
left
guys,
anyway.
you guys have to pay attention.
Fox was covering Guthrie 24 hours a day. Did you see that coverage, Alex? I didn't understand.
Wait, hold on a second.
I thought it was very sad.
I thought it was very sad
that a senior citizen. I thought it was very sad that a senior citizen was missing. I don't want to make light of it. But what I want to say is, in comparison, you've got 11, 12 scientists, top professionals, including, by the way, Air Force Major General William Neal McCaslin. He is missing, and he wasn't just a scientist, Mert. He was the former commander of the Air Force Research Laboratory, which is where they do advanced aerospace propulsion and classified technology development. This is a big guy. Access to top secret stuff. And
wait, hold up a second. Gone. Can you hold on?
You think he wanted to fall off the face of the earth? I doubt it, Mert.
you really get loose on here. I mean, you really go in.
Yeah,
and
because
have
you're making stuff up. Are you really
No,
making stuff up? And it annoys the you know what out of me.
You're not. You don't have any facts. You're just talking about what you think. You're just talking about a conspiracy theory.
Oh,
basically.
Alex,
And
we're gonna have to close his mic. Alex,
we're basically doing the same thing. You have a conspiracy theory that you think there's some top secret campaign going on to wipe out
Should
these
I disappear
scientists
from the airways right now, Lucas, or not?
But what I'm saying is this.
Maybe someone should abduct Mert. Please, I'll give you $100
Hold
if you
up,
abduct Mert.
hold up. You keep. You keep interrupting me. Hold on a second.
Oh my goodness, you keep saying the same thing.
That's because you keep running off at the mouth with the same thing.
Oh God, here we go.
But you keep bringing up an individual who disappeared. If it was 100 scientists disappearing randomly, it would make more sense.
No, so
but
you need 100 people to disappear. I think one person disappearing is of concern. Look at Guthrie. Guthrie's mother disappeared.
Oh my goodness.
That's one person, and the media spent many, many weeks focusing on her disappearance. This is serious. This could have national security implications.
I thought we were supposed to be having a conversation. I mean, you keep interrupting me.
But that was one person, and look at the
now you're bringing up Savannah Guthrie's mother. Like that she's not a scientist.
Because look at the coverage. Look, that's right. Look at the coverage.
I don't even know what she has to do with this, but you keep bringing her up.
But I'm saying a missing person got an extreme amount of attention. Alex, he's not following the logic. Are you following the logic?
I know exactly what you're saying. The double standard here. We spent a month on the national airwaves talking about, and look, God bless Savannah Guthrie and her family, but about one person missing.
That's right.
In the science community, and they're not covering it as well as
11 to 12 people, including a major gun. Look, Mert, Monica
People
Jacinto,
go missing every day. It happens all the time, and because it's the science community, now you want to say there's a conspiracy theory. You're being played along with anybody. You're being played.
Let me give you some facts, because apparently you're speaking out of ignorance. Monica Jacinto Riza, she's a scientist who vanished while hiking. No confirmed foul play, no confirmed link to any other case, but part of a pattern here.
Where is she from?
Hicks, I don't know. Dr. George Hicks, a researcher who left home and never returned, still missing. Dr. Carl Grillmar, an astrophysicist found dead under circumstances still under review. They don't know what killed him. Dr. Jonathan Rivas, a scientist whose disappearance remains unexplained, and several others. We're not hearing a peep about this other than maybe minor snippets. But with Savannah Guthrie, every time you turned on the television, there was a live camera in front of their house out in Arizona. There's a disconnect here.
There is no disconnect. Accidents happen. People disappear all the time. And you conspiracy theorists out there, because you sound like a conspiracy theorist out there.
I'm just giving you the
one
facts.
of them who's out there.
I'm just giving you the facts. The judges don't agree. Thank you, judges.
No. You're giving me a theory. I'm not interested in that theory. But it is an interesting theory, but I'm not particularly interested in it, because I know that people disappear all the time because they're mistreated. They might not want to be found. They might go back to where they're originally from. Because if you think about it, some of these scientists might be from overseas, and they could easily slip back to where they came from once they
just fall off the face of the earth without telling anybody, "Hey, I'm going back to Pakistan."
You must think it's hard. You must think it's hard to do that. You know how easy it is to get lost? It's very easy to do. Just cut yourself off from everybody who you don't want to be in contact with. It's very easy to pull off. It's not hard at all.
Yeah,
so for you to sit here,
it may be easy to do that with family and friends, but when it comes to the government, it's good luck trying to get to disappearing.
The next logical
government
question,
can track every place
the next
you
logical question would be: then why would the government be killing off their own scientists?
I didn't say
why would they be doing that? Well, you got to be saying something.
He's jumping, Alex. This guy's live.
You got to be. Don't try to run it back now, because you're already out there.
I didn't say that, Al. I didn't say that the government. So
why do you think they're disappearing then?
Well, that's what we're trying to find out.
I think they're actually investigating or doing some heavy research that they don't want out there. So
no. I want to know, why do you think they're disappearing? Lucas, not Alex.
The government is saying.
What do you think is the reason? What would your theory be?
I already gave you what one possible.
No, what is yours? Your personal theory. What would you say?
It could be some foreign government that's trying to interfere with our research efforts or impede our research efforts. It's done all the time. Espionage. Come on, it's.
And you just said the key thing. You just said the key thing right there. It's done all the time. And guess why it's usually effective? Because the government usually mistreats, underpays, and overworks its employees. So when they disappear, it makes perfect sense. Stop mistreating your scientists, and they won't disappear. That's how we got the atomic bomb. If you think about it, that's how we got the atomic bomb first.
Think those. Okay. Yeah.
The Jews who were being persecuted in Germany came over to America, and they said, "Guess what we have?" And we said, hey, you come over here, we'll treat you. We don't mind which religion you are. You come over here, we know you've been treated wrong. And they disappeared from wherever they came from. And all of a sudden, to the benefit of America, we have all these new technologies. I don't get why people think that it can't happen in the reverse, where people can be mistreated by the United States government and all of a sudden quit, walk off the job, to somewhere where they're appreciated. That's all we got going on here.
Oh my goodness! So
Can I ask a question, Mert?
Why is there
another one?
For our listeners, this is all Mert's fantasy. He's all delusions. Don't pay any attention. Go ahead, Alex.
Why is there a federal probe on this if it's not a serious disappearance matter?
I want both of you to listen to me clearly. If you're mistreating your scientists and
Where is this theory coming from? This see, you just make up stuff.
I wish you would.
What evidence do you have? Mert, the listeners are listening. They want to know what evidence you have. Yeah.
I really wish that you weren't bullying old Mert. You know, I'm a nice guy.
No, you can't make stuff up.
You're trying to bully me.
The government mistreated these 11 people.
You're trying to bully me. You won't let me get my point off.
You live in some sort of fantasy world. You're living
in bullying me right now.
Alex, I think he's been taking the psychedelics that we were talking about last week.
Now listen, they're legal, people, why not, right?
Listen, people. I don't know. This is what they do. This is what they do when they don't want you to hear the truth. They do this. They drown you out. So that's what you're doing right now. He's drowning me out so I can't get the truth out. But let me finish with my point.
You're talking dribble. You're talking nonsense, and I'm trying to see listeners from your dribble.
Well, listen, just because you can't understand it, I can't help you with that.
Oh, I understand
I'll say
very
this.
well. You're just making up stuff. You have no evidence to support your contention.
I'll
these
say
11
this.
People just quit and decide
and
to
then
fall
I'll
off
be
the
done.
radar.
I'm going to say this and be done with it. It is imperative for the government to get to the bottom of why scientists are disappearing. It's my theory. I don't need you to co-sign me on this, so you can stop with that. It is my theory that they're mistreating these workers and they might be disappearing to overseas and other places, because that's usually what happens when talented people are mistreated. They usually have other people who will take them in and support them, and this is no different than what we've seen in the past. And for Lucas not to understand this, if Lucas came to me and asked me for help, I would help him out. And I think you should humble yourself and do that, because I'll educate you, because you said you don't understand what I'm saying. So I can help you out, because we're good friends. Me and you are good friends. I can help you out anytime you want help.
I think you both are saying the same thing. Maybe a foreign government took these people.
That's right.
He's not saying that. I don't know what he's saying. He's saying what other people
What are you talking about? I did say that. I said it could be that they're trying to interfere with our research programs, and they could be... I don't know. Murdy's living in some sort of delusional world. Look, the government's doing a review. The Congress is doing a review. They're looking to see what is going on. But the real question here is, why didn't we notice sooner? The answer makes me uncomfortable. Why? Because we weren't looking? Because we assumed the scientists were safe? Like Mert thinks they're safe. You know,
they're safe. They're safe. Trust me, they're safe.
They decided to fall off the radar because we trusted coincidence, because we didn't connect the dots. Let's connect the dots, and that's where this story begins, not ends. And let me begin by telling you, you're listening to Shake It Off with Mert and Lucas live. We're truly honored to have you along with us for the ride. Would you believe this is episode number 95? Come on. It's it. Amen. This is, okay, double amen. This is Lucas Ferrara, and we're ever mindful that without you, we're nothing. So we're truly grateful for your support. We've got some great guests in store for you. But before we get to them, let me formally introduce my co-host, the man who thinks people just decided to fall off the face of the earth, the Murdinator, my co-host, Mert Roberts.
That is inaccurate, and I'm going to let you slander me like that.
Oh, my goodness. And let's thank the guy that's engineering and producing tonight's show, the none other than Alex Garrett, who's got a 5-star rated podcast, One Leg Up with Garrett. Special thanks to Ermine Santos, who's working in Master Control tonight. We have special guests after the break, Dr. Monica Vermani. She's the author of A Deeper Wellness, so she'll be coming back after the break. And you know what? She's a clinical psychologist, which means she'll be able to explain why Mert is so stressed. We'll be back. He's delusional. We'll be back after this break.
Over the last 30 years, Newman Ferrara, a New York City law firm, has evolved into a national practice focused on real estate, commercial, litigation, civil rights, class actions, and other complex litigation, representing many of the city's largest property owners, managing agents, and thousands of tenants. Newman Ferrara handles some of the nation's most significant class actions and civil rights matters. Newman Ferrara at 55 East 59th Street, New York City. Go online to newmanferrara.com. That's newmanferrara.com. Listen to the firm's name partner, Lucas Ferrara, every Saturday at 10 a.m. on Dottie Herman's longest-running real estate radio program, Eye on Real Estate, on AM 970. A real estate lawyer for 35 years, Lucas is a professor at New York Law School and is also a published author with books on real estate and New York's landlord-tenant law. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. to hear Lucas's unique perspective and advice on Eye on Real Estate.
In this 25th anniversary of September 11th, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation continues to honor America's heroes. The foundation created veterans' villages that stand as a beacon of hope for those who have sacrificed everything for our nation. These communities are committed to helping veterans achieve stability and independence by providing safe housing and personalized services tailored to their needs. Residents find support, dignity, and a sense of belonging among others who truly understand the meaning of service and sacrifice. Tunnel to Towers and its supporters believe no veteran should ever be left behind. Through the Homeless Veteran Program, Veterans Villages, and the National Case Management Network, the foundation has provided housing and supported services to more than 17,000 veterans nationwide. Donate $11 monthly and amplify your impact with a car or land donation. Head to T2T.org. That's T2T.org.
Dr. Lederman explains both cancer and arthritis treatment. Radiosurgery attacks primary and metastatic cancer with invisible beams when surgery or chemo isn't wanted, hasn't worked. Radiosurgery maintains your body, avoiding surgery of breast, lung, pancreas, liver, bladder, prostate, bowel, and more. New low-dose radiation helps relieve arthritis pain in knees, hips, hands, and more. Thousands treated for arthritis over decades with high success. Dr. Lederman, first in America with body radiosurgery for cancer treatment, first in New York with brain radiosurgery, now low-dose arthritis radiation. Many reasons to meet Dr. Lederman, New York's only Harvard-trained, triple-board certified radiation doctor, most insurances, Medicare, Medicaid accepted, 1384 Broadway at 38th. Call Dr. Lederman for cancer. Call Dr. Lederman for arthritis. 2 and 2 choices. 2 and 2 choices.
When the storm hits or when your trees need serious care, you call O'Sullivan Tree Care. O'Sullivan Tree Care is a fully licensed and insured family-owned company, proudly serving Rockland County, Westchester County, and New Jersey. Their experienced team handles it all: tree removals, precision pruning, stump grinding, crane work, and emergency storm cleanup. Fast, safe, and professional. When severe weather strikes, O'Sullivan Tree Care responds when it matters most, clearing dangerous trees, restoring access, and protecting homes and properties. They also supply high-quality mulch and screen green topsoil available for pickup or delivery. You call, they haul. What sets O'Sullivan Tree Care apart is reliability under pressure. When others step back, their crew steps forward. Experienced, equipped, and ready to work in the toughest conditions. So whether you're dealing with storm damage, downed trees, or routine property maintenance, make the call to the team you can trust. O'Sullivan Tree Care, 845-359-8733. That's 845-359-8733. O'Sullivan Tree Care, where quality meets reliability and the job gets done right.
Welcome back to Shake It Off with Mert and Lucas, live on AM 970, The Answer.
Oh, I love that, Alex. What's the name of that tune?
This is called Pent Up House by D. Masali.
Pent Up House.
And I want to make one clarification. When I say disappear Mert, I mean mute him. That's all I'm trying to say. Maybe one day we will. I don't know yet.
Right. If you're all pent up, then you need to hear from our next guest, Dr. Monica Vermani. She's one of Canada's most respected clinical psychologists. She's a leading voice on trauma, anxiety, mood disorders, and the emotional patterns that quietly shape how people move through their lives. For more than 25 years, she's worked at the intersection of evidence-based therapy, mind-body health, and practical real-world coping strategies, helping kids and adults navigate everything from acute trauma to the everyday pressures that leave so many feeling overwhelmed. She's the author of the critically acclaimed book, A Deeper Wellness, Conquering Stress, Mood, Anxiety, and Traumas. It's a guide that distills her clinical experience into clear, actionable steps for building resilience, breaking unhealthy cycles, Mert needs that, and reclaiming a sense of balance in a world that rarely slows down. Whether she's working with patients, corporate teams, or audiences around the world, her mission is the same: to help people live with greater clarity, intention, and emotional freedom. Welcome to the program, Dr. Vermani.
Thank you for having me.
Well, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Hold on a second.
Mert's in some sort of delusional. Mert's in some sort of delusional thing.
Let's ask the doctor this question, because I'm pretty sure you could be a corporate psychologist as well. Don't you think that it would behoove corporations or even, government entities to treat their employees well, pay them well, so that they don't disappear and look for job opportunities elsewhere? Would that make sense? Creating
psychologically safe work environments just mean your productivity increase. So the people at the top need to realize that the more they make their environment psychologically safe, then people feel safe enough to invest time, energy, be loyal, and work a little bit harder to get their companies to succeed more. But what's happening is sometimes people are getting promoted to the top and they're not necessarily being trained on how to be good managers and have psychologically safe environments where people feel safe to really put themselves fully into the job and live in their highest and best or better.
And would you say that it would be very important for the government to do that? Because if you have someone like a very talented scientist who might have critical information that the rest of the world doesn't have access to at this moment, and you're not treating them right, and they get upset and they say, you know what, I've been recruited by foreign entities and they're willing to pay me and they're willing to treat me like the scientists. Wouldn't it make sense that they might defect to another country or another organization because they're going to be treated?
I think you have to kind of look at it as each of us are looking after our own good. And when it comes down to it, post-pandemic, a lot of people have lost trust in their companies, lost trust in the government, lost trust in people one-to-one, where we're more disconnected than ever, which means the first place to really reach people is companies, because those are large masses of people. And if an employer works on making their environment psychologically safe with healthier habits, healthier routines, healthier workspaces, you're going to have people doing better in their personal lives as well as professional ones. When you're in pain, you spill over onto others. If they're unhappy in one area of their life, it's spilling over onto everything.
And Mert, just for our listeners, if a scientist decided to go to another country, okay, for more money and stole our secrets, that is a crime. And I don't know why you're getting Dr. Vermani involved in your fantasies here. Okay, Doc, don't fall for this. Okay, in our last segment, to wrap this up, Doc, and I'm sorry that he brought you into this. We're talking about where, 11, 12 scientists are missing in the U.S. and they're trying to find out the reason that these people, there's no nexus, there's no connection apparently. But, astrophysicists, nuclear scientists, you name it, they're gone. They all fell off the face of the earth. And all of a sudden, you got Mert with this fakakta theory that somehow they're not paid well, so they decide to fall off the face of the earth.
And Lucas would like you to say, "Oh, they've been abducted by aliens." That would be his theory.
It's as likely as your theory, that's for sure, Mert.
Maybe both of you need to learn how to stay in your lane and just mind your own businesses. Everybody's going to have a reason for where they go and what they do, and it's about living your highest and best. If they're happy off the grid, let them do it. If they're kidnapped, whatever, I'm sure we'll figure it out. But I guess here and now, how does that concern the two of you?
Okay, that's what we're trying to
the one thing I've learned, thing I've learned is it's good to sometimes wake up in the morning and ask yourself, what is the next right move I need to make my life better? And the better you are in your life, the better you're going to have a ripple effect around the world.
I'm shocked that you would have that take. Why are we not concerned? I would think that would be very healthy to be concerned with the other people who are disappearing, regardless of what either of us.
Oh my God, he's turning on you, Doc.
Mert, my dear, do you know these people personally, or did you just read it in the media? Because this is where that doom closing.
He's just making it up. He's making it up, Doc.
If you know these people personally, I'm going to give you some compassion. Say you have reason to be concerned. But if you don't know them directly, you're just like everybody else with a bad habit of doom scrolling, reading things, and then going down rabbit holes and getting stuck in patterns that really concern anxiety, depression, and get you just ruminating about things that really don't have all the data in front of you.
Amen. Doc, that's why we love you, and that's why you're one of our most frequent guests on this program. Now, Doc, in a deeper wellness, you write that most people are living in survival mode without realizing it. What does that look like? Is that does Mert embody that, or is it something else? What does it look like?
I don't know Mert that personally, but when it comes down to it, we all have good habits and bad habits. And, routine, structure, we all bring into our lives. When it comes down to automatic pilot, I think sometimes we don't realize how a good habit forms into a bad one due to coping skills. And so today, habits are not always intrinsically bad, but many of us are doing things to take the edge off life, and that's turning into a bad habit. Taking the edge off, procrastinating, avoiding, denying, doom scrolling. We're just having a lot of people do things that are getting people into automatic pilot, and then over time, that bad habit turns into a new lifestyle. And so today, we're having bad habits lead us to places of being stuck, sick, broke, struggling, alone, isolated, and also angry and irritable with everybody.
Wow. And what is the solution, Doc? Is there a quick solution to this, or other than therapy?
So I think deep down inside, we all have to pause and reflect, right? We get caught up in maladaptive thoughts, kind of like what Mert's doing, too, and you go down rabbit holes.
Amen, Doc. I love you. Keep going.
We have to sometimes pause and reflect and look at, what are my habits causing me more stress and anguish, or are my habits helping my life develop to be healthier? The healthier we are, the healthier we are for our close circles in our lives, as well as the world we live in. And so, you could have a stressful job, and at the end of the day, if you're really winding down with alcohol or drugs to take the edge off, it might work pretty well, but over time, that's going to expand to routines of addiction or avoiding people or staying home more. So we're not realizing sometimes on a day-to-day basis, besides therapy bringing you awareness to your problems, I think yourself just pausing and realizing, am I going down rabbit holes? Am I going down places that make me catastrophize, thinking about worst case scenarios in life versus realistically here and now, what is the information in front of me and how do I take the next right move for my life? It's not about controlling others, understanding everybody else. Sometimes it's just about keep it simple. Go back to yourself. Breaking a habit or breaking patterns of just going down rabbit holes and catastrophizing is really you taking charge of your life.
Amen. Doc, talk about taking charge. We have to take a quick commercial break, believe it or not. But folks, have no fear. When we return, Dr. Monica Vermani will rejoin us. For more about the doctor and her book, visit drmonicavermani.com. You'll find her book, A Deeper Wellness, on Amazon and wherever books are sold. In the meantime, Mert, Alex, and I certainly hope you'll stay right where you are. Stay with us, because after the break, Dr. Vermani returns. She's a clinical psychologist, which is perfect timing because some of you have been emailing, and let's just say the vibes are concerning. We'll be back after these messages.
Over the last 30 years, Newman Ferrara, a New York City law firm, has evolved into a national practice focused on real estate, commercial, litigation, civil rights, class actions, and other complex litigation, representing many of the city's largest property owners, managing agents, and thousands of tenants. Newman Ferrara handles some of the nation's most significant class actions and civil rights matters. Newman Ferrara at 55 East 59th Street, New York City. Go online to NewmanFerrara.com. That's NewmanFerrara.com. Listen to the firm's name partner, Lucas Ferrara, every Saturday at 10 a.m. on Dottie Herman's longest-running real estate radio program, Eye on Real Estate, on AM 970. A real estate lawyer for 35 years, Lucas is a professor at New York Law School and is also a published author with books on real estate and New York's landlord-tenant law. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. to hear Lucas's unique perspective and advice on Eye on Real Estate. Hi, it's Joe Piscopo. Have you heard what is being said about gold and silver? Jamie Dimon just said gold can easily go to $5,000 to $10,000. Bank of America's strategist Michael Harnett said $6,000 gold in the spring. And now multiple reports are noting a historic squeeze in the physical silver market, which is why silver has been outperforming gold this year. Yet both are significantly outperforming the U.S. stock indexes. This is why many people are calling my friends at Landmark Capital. When you call, you get a free information packet about gold and silver. If you have a 401k or IRA, you will also learn how to take advantage of physical gold and silver in your retirement without a tax liability. Give Landmark Capital a call today at 844-604-2575. That's 844-604-2575 or landmarkgold.com. That's landmarkgold.com.
Close your eyes and see it. A private island in the Bahamas, powder white sand under your feet, Jamaica's lush mountains rising out of the sea, crystal clear waters in the Cayman Islands, sun-drenched streets, and ancient culture in Cozumel. Now step aboard a luxury ship where everything is handled, first-class dining, relaxed elegance, no packing and unpacking, just experience. And at the center of it all, conversations that matter. Salem Media's Mike Gallagher, Scott Jennings, Larry O'Connor, Jennifer Horn. Live, unfiltered, engaging with you. Meet them, talk with them, share meals, build relationships with people who think like you and value what you value. This is more than a vacation. It's a celebration of 250 years of American freedom, set against the most beautiful backdrop in the Caribbean. Text cruise to 94878 to book your cabin. 7 days, November 14th through 21st. The Gulf of America Cruise. Book now. Text cruise to 94878.
Feel like you're trying to push a boulder uphill wearing skates? If you run or manage a local business today, you're challenged like never before. We get it, and we want to help. We're Salem Surround. We're a full-service marketing agency that'll help you increase your customer base by designing incredibly effective plans to reach your consumers day, night, and everywhere they might be.
If you're a local business and want to see what Salem Surround can do for you, Google Salem Surround New York. Remember to Google Salem Surround New York today.
The Danielle Gill Podcast, now available on the Salem Podcast Network.
Actually lowering prices has rarely ever been an accomplishment a Democrat could even claim. The Democrat modus operandi is to use each crisis as an excuse to pass legislation which increases spending, gives more power to the government, and which will make new crises which they can't then use as an excuse to pass more horrible legislation.
Subscribe for free today on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, or at SalemPodcastNetwork.com. Welcome back to Shake It Off with Mert and Lucas, live on AM 970, The Answer.
Dr. Monica Vermani is a highly regarded clinical psychologist who blends evidence-based practice with clear, compassionate guidance on emotional health. She's the author of A Deeper Wellness, which is a practical roadmap that helps readers understand stress, mood, anxiety, and trauma. And boy, am I traumatized. And she helps build the tools to rise above them. For more about the good doctor and her book, visit drmonicavermani.com. That's Dr. Monica, Vermani.com. You'll also find her book, A Deeper Wellness, on Amazon and wherever books are sold. We'll also have links posted on our website, shakeitofflive.com. Now, Doc, Mr. Rabbit Hole has a question or comment for you, so be ready.
Ooh.
Be ready.
Okay, bring it on, Mert.
Listen, we won't hold his degenerate behavior against him. He doesn't mean anything by it. He doesn't mean anything by it.
No,
it's okay.
degenerate. Oh my God.
Now listen, I want to ask you this because you are from Canada, and we've discussed this a few weeks back. What do you think about the politician up there who used the acronym MMIWG2SLGBTQQIA+ and was criticized for it? Do you think using acronyms like that to describe people who have been mistreated, do you think that's effective or ineffective? What would be your viewpoint on that?
No, I think deep down inside, Mert, even like you asking the question, all human behavior has a purpose. And so building awareness around why we do what we do is about our own personal journey. And so you wanting to know the answer, what's the purpose of your behavior? Them speaking that way, what's the purpose of their behavior? Sometimes we get answers and sometimes we don't. And it's not about having opinions about people's behaviors. It's about having awareness of how it affects you. Sometimes it causes stress, it causes anxiety, it causes you to feel offended. Try to set an intention instead of to get reactive, to look at how to respond to things, to look at why is this triggering me? Familiarize yourself to look at the cues that trigger you and what's in my highest and best, what's the next right move for me to make, for me to move forward. There's always going to be someone out there with an opinion, a standing, or, says something, does something that will trigger an offense out of you. And sometimes it's from, truly justice-oriented things, and other times it's from just emotional triggers and emotional baggage or debris from your family life. So it's about us looking at here and now, why do I need to understand this person's behavior versus looking at how that behavior impacts my life, and how it impacts my life is what matters, right?
Lucas, she's a professional. You just sidestepped my question. I was asking you, as the doctor, is that an effective tactic? That was a very swift and very skilled sidestep you did, but I really want to know, is that
she's saying it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
That's right.
Mert, deep down inside, you got to look at why you're exploring it. Why are you going down that rabbit hole again? What part of you needs to dig deeper?
We have to have you on more regularly, doctor. We have to have you on more regularly, please.
But a deeper wellness sometimes is picking your battles wisely. This one I'm going to pick wisely. When it comes down to it, how does this better the human race? How does this better all the people that are listening to us right now? It's not about taking sides. It's having compassion for yourself and others and correcting and continuing past even people's wrong behaviors.
All right, wait a minute now. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm reading between the lines. So are you saying that what this politician did, it was ineffective. It was pointless. Because I think most people probably
do you
wouldn't
have
care.
a little bit of ADD because you get hyper-focused on something and you don't let it go, do you?
Welcome to my world, Doc, okay? You see why I'm traumatized?
There's this beautiful Instant Karma song by John Lennon, and there's a line in that song about making positive changes. Why in the world are we here? Surely not to live in pain and fear. And
Amen.
So that's about you learning to move out of a place of pain and fear and living our highest and best lives. Learn to choose that each and every moment. There are so many distractions in the news and social media that take us sideways into places that remind us of void, lack, divide us, separate us, judgment that makes us judge ourselves and judge others. Let's try to contain some of that behavior and look at how wealthy you are. You're wealthy with your health, your family, your loved ones, with people who are doing right. Why don't we speak about the people who do right things instead of all the people who kind of misstep or do things out of ignorance?
Amen.
Sometimes, moving out of a place of pain and fear is what's going to make the world a better place.
Now, Doc, you talk, why are anxiety and mood disorders exploding right now? Is it culture, tech, stress, or is it something deeper?
I think deep down inside, we're just all in a place of pain and fear. Anxiety is self-doubt. I don't know if I can handle the next bad thing out there. And watching what we watch on social media or the news, many times we're just being fueled more and more fear, anxiety, judgment of ourselves and judgment of others. All of this is separating us from ourselves versus coming together. If we come together with more love and compassion, you'll find in every disastrous behavior out there, this one's from every time somebody does something ill, there's also a bunch of people coming together to fight against it or bring in justice or speak truth or bring in kindness and compassion and love. Even the pandemic, as much as it separated people, it brought people together too.
That's
so
true.
Learning to reframe maladaptive behaviors into healthy ones, learning to replace one thought with the other, replace the negative thoughts of lack and void with what you have and how wealthy you are in life. If you ask yourself, what am I grateful for? That's one way to say it. But the other way to say it is, how am I blessed with so much wealth? Like, how are you wealthy? You're wealthy with the food you eat, the shelter, the friends, the knowledge, the compassion, the kindness, a job maybe. Learn to start realizing how wealthy your lives are instead of focusing on the lack and the mishaps.
Words of wisdom from Dr. Monica Vermani, who has a great book called Deeper Wellness. Please check it out. Doc, what's one misconception about mental health that you wish would disappear forever?
That we're weak. There's no weakness. We're all human behaviors. Life is a series of experiences. That's it. Stop judging it as good, bad, and ugly is all teaching you something. And if you can step back from your emotions and taking things personally, everything is teaching you. Everything is showing you that you can step forward in a new way of behaving and you can be the change you want to see in the world. But when you call yourself weak and you start categorizing yourself in a place where you personalize things, you lower your vibration to lose connection to your highest and best
Now,
version
Doc,
of you.
if I call you weak, is it different? Because if I look at you and I say you want to lose weight and you keep eating candy, chips, chicken, you just eat everything that you're not supposed to eat, can I call you weak? Or is that wrong if I do that?
So this goes back to the power of habit. There's a book out there called The Power of Habit, and they talk about a cue, a routine, and a reward. So the cue is usually a habit that we form without much thought, automatic pilot. So think about it this way. At the end of the day, I'm tired and I just want to eat a good meal to reward myself. And so the end of the day, the cue is eat a good meal to reward myself. And I might overeat as a part of my daily routine now, and that's leading me to a place of maybe weight gain or something. It's about you starting to recognize your habits. Life is always about replacing one habit with the other.
I'm saying
nobody's weak.
If I call that person weak, am I wrong?
Well, that's your judgment. Yeah.
Okay, I'm wrong.
Who are you to sit there and judge? Well, many times I think what we do to others, we do to ourselves. So for me as a psychologist, for you to call somebody weak, that means it's showing me a mirror of how you judge yourself. You judge yourself so harshly that you're judging others too. What we do to others, we do to ourselves.
Whoa.
So what should I do? Should I go up to him and say, hey, man, maybe you should go to a clinical psychologist to help you with your weight
Why don't
problem.
you just mind your own business and start working on how you judge yourself? And as you start being kinder and more compassionate to Mert, then guess what? Automatically, the ripple effect will you be kinder and compassionate to others.
Be a little kinder, Mert. I agree, Dr.
Yeah, I hear that
Vermani.
sounds good.
That's why
good.
That's why you're Canada's.
When we're critical of ourselves, we have a tendency to be critical of others.
Listen, when I'm at the gym and I got some of my friends come, how do you stay in so good a shape? How are you able to bench 225 pounds? And I see these. I'm not going to say that because I want to, be a deeper wellness. I want to have that mentality. But I see them slacking off, and it's just easier for me to just say, you're being weak-minded. But you're saying I shouldn't do that. They're asking me for advice.
Live and let live. I always feel like, they're asking you for advice, but, actions speak louder than words. Instead, they can watch you and learn from you or ask you. But deep down inside, I think everybody has an individual journey. Instead of us comparing ourselves to others, we should be learning how to be a better version of ourselves. So when I see somebody I judge as lesser than me, it shows me I grew from that place. When I see somebody I judge as better than me, it just shows me I can acquire those skills and become it. So if I was in the gym with you and you were working out and you looked a little bit better than me, I would just try to learn the skills you're doing to become better than you, right? But when it comes down to it, this is an individual journey. We're always comparing ourselves, not to kind of poo-poo on ourselves, but to see how far we are in our own journey, how far you've come, how far you can continue to grow. So it's not about comparing ourselves with that motive. Compare yourself to learn how to be a better, higher version of you. You're here for your own individual journey. You're born alone, you die alone. It is an individual journey amongst the collective. Mert, are you living your highest and best life?
Now, Doc, do you live your life going through all these? Because this sounds like a lot of work to do. To be this high in my, do you live your life? It must be tough to have to be this heavenly, this saintly, because that everything you're saying it makes perfect sense what you're saying. But I'm just thinking, like, do I really want to sit here and be
I'm
this
just
nice?
as perfect and a work in progress as you are. When it comes down to it, we're all perfect and a work in progress. And when you say hard work, staying unhealthy is hard work, and staying healthy is work. Pick your work.
Amen.
Right?
Amen.
And so I think sometimes if you look at the consequences of choosing unhealthy habits, they get you stuck in isolation, in anger, in irritability, and anxiety, and not sleeping well, eating well, being bitter and angry at the world, or being bitter and angry by not seeing the gratitude and how many things are working, just always looking at stuck patterns of lack. The hurt and harm by doing unhealthy habits is just pretty detrimental.
You just described Mert to a T, Doctor. Now, you emphasize the mind-body connection. What does that actually mean in practical terms, this mind-body connection?
Many of us do short and shallow breaths when we're racing through that rat race out there. And so we're breathing from our short, shallow breaths, and we tend to be like ruminating or racing in our mind a lot. So a lot of patients and people I talk to say, my mind's always racing. And, you're living in your head many times, catastrophizing about the future. What if this happens? What if that happens? Or going back to past memories where you're feeling hurt, disappointed, angry at people. It's about learning how to connect from your mind to your body, feel grounded, and be whole, meaning align with yourself on a mind and body level so that you can take a deep breath. Like even just right now, taking a deep breath so that your belly, expands. And when you exhale, you deflate your body, but learning how to allow yourself to ground yourself copes with stress better. And so many of us today are living in our head, constantly racing, going on to the next thing, doom scrolling, procrastinating, being hard on ourselves, versus connecting to our breath, connecting to walking, connecting to, paying attention to what we eat, being mindful, being thankful, learning how to just slow down and see the world, be the observer versus always racing in your life. And so learning to observe, to smell the roses, if you want to call it, taste the cherries, learn to enjoy the conversations, wind down after a tough day, breathe, focus, and connect to your senses. Like if you really want to talk about mind, body, get out of your head and connect to just your simple senses, taste, smell, touch, hearing, sight. We are so blessed with so much wealth just with those senses. And many of us are zipping through life without paying attention to all the wonders that we have just with our senses.
Oh, Doc, such beautiful words. Would you believe we've run out of time, unfortunately? You have to come back. You have to come back for a record-breaking 6th time or whatever it is. For more about the doctor and her book, visit drmonica.vermani.com. You'll find her book, A Deeper Wellness, on Amazon and wherever books are sold. We'll also have links posted on our website, shakeitofflive.com. Doc, thanks so much for coming on the program once again.
Well, Lucas, she doesn't know this, but I'm getting a free session. She don't know that. This is why we're inviting her back so much. I'm getting free sessions.
That free therapy. That's why she's got to come back on.
I
figured out a little scheme.
I'm
to
back
get free.
anytime you want me.
All right. Next up, thanks, Dr. Jared Cooney-Horvath. He's a cognitive neuroscientist, and he's the author of The Digital Delusion. So after the break, we will hear from him. So don't go away. There's the news coming up, but we know you want it. We know you want to shake it off with us. Hour 2 begins after these messages. A lot more controversy and maybe just some answers await. Stay tuned.
The preceding hour of programming, sponsored by Shake It Off Live, LLC.
Andy Chrisman of For Him has spent 40-plus years in Christian music, and chances are he knows your favorite artist personally. Now he's bringing you their stories.
I'm Andy Chrisman.
In his new podcast, 1 Degree of Andy, he sits down with the voices behind the songs for real, honest, and faith-filled conversations you won't hear anywhere else.
That's a great question.
If you love Christian music, this is your backstage pass.
The 1 Degree of Andy podcast.
Listen now to 1 Degree of Andy wherever you get your podcasts.